think I'm organised. Welcome to the live version of Grounded in Wisdom. As life happens, things evolve, and I'm wanting to change the format of this. So it's going to be very, very informal. Hence, here I am in my work clothes and talking. And the idea here is to present some valuable information to you and for me to develop my skills. So let's jump into it. Where are you tuning in from? I'd love to know because I have people all over the world. And obviously, time frames are different and people are at work or having lunch at different times. So where are you tuning in from? It's just really interesting to know. Yeah, lovely. Great. Thank you. Sydney. Yes. And Dubbo. Wow, I have some friends in Bathurst. Queensland. Nice. And Coffs Harbour. Oh my gosh, who doesn't like to go to the coast? I do. It's great to have you on board. So, the topic for today is who do you believe you are? And how does self-identity influence our actions and decisions? Big topic. By the end of this session, you will have been able to either answer that or now have the inclination to ponder more deeply upon those questions. So, who do you believe you are? And how does self-identity influence our actions and decisions? What's your self-identity? Are you good with numbers? Are you good with people? Do you love teaching? I love teaching. I really loved my job as a teacher. Do you like sharing? Do you like helping others? Well, a person who identifies as a problem solver, for example, might be more inclined to take on challenges at work, seeking solutions rather than feeling overwhelmed. Conversely, someone who sees themselves as not good with numbers, or in my initial case, not good with technology, might avoid doing tasks like that. But it comes back to mindset, doesn't it? It really does. Because way back in history, when I started off, thinking, oh man, I'm just not so good with technology, a friend, a lovely, lovely friend who was in the mindset journey said, Margherita, wrong thinking. And it all is focused around mindset, actually. So if you're one of those people who says, I'm not good with numbers, you're probably going to avoid tasks that involve numbers, e.g. doing the tax, even if you have deep within you the potential to become really good with numbers. You are closing that window, the fresh air, the information. You are closing that down, so it's just not going to come to you. It comes back to the law of attraction, doesn't it? So, as I've mentioned before, my background is that of being a teacher. I loved it. I loved being a teacher. I loved the interaction with the students, of watching them go from point A to point B. You'd get them here at the beginning of the year and you would take them along this journey to the end of the year where you would see them thriving and ready to move on to the next level. However, life changes. The only constant in life is change, and change did happen. And I soon found myself in need of developing a business, finding an income outside of teaching. And I struggled with that because I saw myself in this box of being a teacher, and my heart's desire was to go over here into the entrepreneurial side. And I struggled, which was really interesting because here I was saying, I really don't care much about what people think about me. All of a sudden I did. Here I was, a teacher, now taking on the role of entrepreneur. And I just felt people all around me, particularly my colleagues, were looking at me and saying, well, who does she think she is? Really? She's been a teacher all her life. How can she jump into this entrepreneurial stage? And it held me back for quite some time, a long time actually. And it was only through doing personal development programs that I was able to overcome this. So, how do our surroundings influence us? Well, we have external ones, and that's the opinions and of the opinions and feedback of others, those people around us, and that certainly shapes our reality and our identity. A positive supporter who believes in you and encourages you does wonders for your self-esteem and self-belief. I know because I am blessed to have a couple of people who really believe in me. And you know, when I say I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z, they say, of course you are. And sometimes, you know, that, well, actually, that X, Y, and Z is so totally different to my current situation. And if they weren't the caliber of friends that they are, it would be very easy for them to laugh at me and say, really, Margherita? You got rocks in your head? How on earth are you possibly going to do that? But my conviction and my belief is nourished by their belief in me, and that is such a powerful thing. Also, having a positive mentor or a coach who is encouraging you and guiding you is most beneficial because they carry you through those time periods of disbelief, of self-doubt. And trust me, every human, no matter whether they're earning 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, 2 figures, go through self-doubt. And it is so important. It is essential to have somebody who is your coach and your mentor to take you through those periods of self-doubt to the next step, because doubt creeps in. It's inevitable. It's just part of life. And of course, there are the naysayers who can and possibly do influence us. Again, you know, if we allow them to, they do. If our peers constantly criticise us in what we say, or subconsciously, whether it's purposeful or not, or subconsciously, belittle our suggestions, well, that can certainly put a pin in your balloon of self-belief, can't it? And if friends and family laugh at your ideas, that likewise can be deflating. Or some people can actually take that and use it as fuel for their fire within. So the bottom line is that you matter, and everyone's actions matter, and everyone's actions have an impact. An employee who consistently strives in their role can actually inspire others, creating a beautiful culture of excellence within the organisation. And conversely, if there is an attitude of, she'll be right, mate, that certainly has a limiting factor, hasn't it? Pop in the chat box if you can find it, because this is all very new to me and I'm not sure if it's there. We'll find that out later, won't we? Pop in the chat box if you've come across, you know, a negative attitude that really plummets people's expectations and aptitudes within the workplace. I've certainly worked in that where you're not really encouraged to thrive and strive because of the surrounding circumstances of people. And conversely, on the other flip side of that, it's been an absolute delight to work with people who inspire you, you know, with what they are doing, and encourage you with your ideas to put them forward. It's lovely. And I'm sure we've all experienced both of those. So let's pause and ponder upon these and reflect when these incidences last occurred in your life. Just take a moment to pause and think how they, when did they pop into your life and how did they affect your life in a positive way, in a negative way, and were you aware of it at the time? All right, let's move on to finding your purpose. I know when I came out of the divorce and my whole world had obviously shattered and felt I'd lost my identity. It was a really big question. Who am I? I was actually no longer a wife, no longer a mother, no longer lots of things. And it took me ages to find my footing again and to find my purpose in life. Where to next? Because suddenly 40 years was down the gurgler. But interestingly enough, processing through that, what I learnt it wasn't down the gurgler. There was so much in that I learnt, gave me skills, and I grew into the person I now am, stronger, because of all of those things that had happened. I have skills and talents that I learned throughout that 40 years. So, finding your purpose. What truly matters to you is a very good start to answering that question. Answering it will help you to find your purpose. And that is a whole topic in my 8-week Purpose and Prosperity program. However, for today, let's just quickly look at those moments that fulfilled you. Those moments that energized you. Those moments that filled your cup, so to speak, caused you great joy. Your heart was beating with joy, so much joy. Joy and satisfaction. For example, if you feel alive and vibrant when helping others, you might find your purpose in community service or in establishing a business that serves others in a particular fashion. So for me, my teaching background, which I absolutely loved, led me into this coaching realm, developing new skills, but utilising the skills that I have previously. So take some time to either ponder or write down some thoughts of what actions, what activities, what experiences you've recently participated in that have given you great satisfaction, great joy. And lastly, here are some questions for reflection. What truly matters to you? Now, we've only been here for a short amount of time, and we really can't have dug deep until I learn how to work this jolly thing and get into action here. So, what truly matters to you? Are you still looking for answers to reignite your passion, to find your purpose? So if you're needing help to define the answers to these questions, then I invite you to DM me to see what could be your possible next step. So there are several paths to take, and not all the paths I offer are paid options. There are freebies in there too. Why? Because that's how I started off. going down the freebie route, and then realised that time actually was of the essence. So doing the freebies, it took this amount of time. Cutting to the chase, having a coach, you hit the nail on the head in far shorter amount of time. So I trust that you've been able to at least become aware of the answers to the question, who do you believe you are? And that it has caused you to ponder more deeply upon that. Because truly, we are far more than what we give ourselves credit for. God bless. See you next time.